Squat it up and squee bop bop skipping butter intro.
What's up, YouTube? It's Gem here with a video all about Jason's throwing knives in Friday the 13th the game. This video took me way longer to put together than I anticipated, and I feel it's a bit unfinished. But it's already way longer than I expected, so maybe I'll do a part 2. But for now, strap in. It's about to get crazy. Jason's knives are his best weapon, and if you don't think so, it can only be because you don't collect them and haven't put in the time to get good with them. They're long range. They can cancel almost any counselor animation in the game. My favorite is catching someone crawling through a window. It pulls them right back out of the climbing animation while you close the gap and get the grab. Knives can stop the police or Tommy call, and will reset skill checks needed to do a repair. It can even cancel the animation of a health spray, not to mention what a well-aimed throw can do to the car. This is super fun to do too, but it's cheating, so keep that in the private matches, offline bots, or use it to punish the jerk that ran your friend over with the car. Lots of videos on YouTube will teach you things like that about the knife. Car flips, quick throws, even the knife animation cancel. And although all 3 are shown in this video, my plan isn't to teach you about any one of them here. There are plenty of resources out there that teach you these. I'm going to teach you something that seemingly no one has covered, at least not that I've found. And now that I've done it, that may be for good reason. Knife locations. You can't show off how good you are with the knives or even practice if you don't have any. I still need to do my research on this and the other maps, and those videos may get made at some point, but first up, Packanack Large. This is mostly, and not surprisingly, about memorization, but not entirely in the way that you'd think. There are 40 collectible knives available on Packanack Large. To break this down effectively, we first have to identify the 2 kinds of knives I'll be going over here. Guaranteed knives and cabin knives. 20 of the knives on this board are guaranteed. That means they'll always be in the exact same spots. These guaranteed knives begin with the 2 in Jason's shack. Fun fact, since I grabbed these 2 in the video, shortly after knifing the car, I've been grabbing guaranteed knives exclusively, so you can rewind and follow along to see the locations of them. These are found on any structure that is not a log cabin. Most of them appear on light posts throughout the map, but there's also 2 on Packanack, 2 on trees, the lifeguard chair, 1 on each of the 2 green cabins by Packanack on top of the hill, and 1 on each of the 2 shack things near the docks where the boats will spawn. Okay, so now we know for certain where 20 of them are on this map. What about the other 20? I used to think these were completely random, but they're not. I'm going to put some maps on the screen that I wish I would have had when I started making this video. I'll put a link in the description below to the website where I found them, and full credit goes to Geekboxing for putting them together. Thank you. Most decent players are aware that for any given map, Jason's shack has 2 possible spawn locations. Counselors can identify the shack's location because a campfire appears in the other spot. What most people don't know is that for each possible shack location, there are 2 different configurations of the map. For the sake of this video, I'll call the 4 possible configurations maps A, B, C, and D. The locations of key items will tell us which configuration has loaded, and for Jason, that's easy. They're shown on the map. This is map A. The phone is at the main lodge. The power boxes are in the lower left 2 cabins, and Jason's shack is behind Packanack. This is map B. It has a line down the right side with 2 power boxes with the phone in the middle. And once again, you'll find Jason's shack behind Packanack Lodge. Map B is also unique in that it only has 18 possible cabin knives. I guess the developers forgot to. This is map C. The phone spawns on the corner of Hodder's Path and Palmer's Pass, and Jason's shack is on the east side of the map. And finally, map D, with the phone in the northernmost cabin at Woodbury, the shack to the east, and this cabin here is more north for some reason than it is on the other 3 versions of the map. It makes it really easy to identify this one. So the video you'll see from here on out is a speed run I tried to collect only cabin knives on this configuration. It was about the time that I learned all of this that I realized a walkthrough for the last 20 knives was not going to be easy, if possible at all. I cannot speak for maps A, B, and C at this time, but the game did load map D 3 separate times that I recorded. and the knives were consistently placed, with one exception. On 2 separate runs, there was one missing, but both times it ended up on the back of the house in Woodbury next to the car. I'm hoping this is the only knife discrepancy, and when it happened again in my speed run, the second cabin in Woodbury was missing a knife, and it totally threw me off, so I edited out me walking around like a dipshit. I guess from these 4 playthroughs, I can deduce that there are 21 possible knife locations and 20 knives. I hope this is the case for the other 3 versions of this map. One thing I noticed while focused on Map D is that the names of the cabins seem to determine not only the floor plan, but the location of knives. This seems to be the case on all versions of Packanack Large, so it's super helpful to learn the cabin names to help you to remember where the knives are too. But sadly, not all the cabins have names. It seems like there's a ton of stuff left to learn here, and I suggest you try to have fun while doing what you can with what I've provided. No doubt it'll make you a better Jason, and it's way more interesting learning the map than killing offline bots or dealing with trolls when your friends aren't online. Do a speedrun or 2. Figure out certain moves as Jason that you like which allow you to collect a few knives in quick succession, and then share your findings with me and the community so we can all benefit from them too. Just don't expect to collect all 40 in a real match and have time left to get your revenge. So what's the point if I can't feasibly collect them all in a real match? Well, the point is simply knowing where they are, so you can keep an eye out for them and be strategic about your movement as Jason. Knowing there's a knife if you go one way versus the other around a cabin may cause you to make that decision, and it can be the edge you need when you come across a great player. Hopefully this guide will help you to collect a few extra knives per match. I don't pretend to know the straightest or fastest route to all the knives in any map configuration. In fact, Map B had me wondering where I missed 2 for the longest time. There are only a few places on or in the cabins where the knives are going to spawn, and at this point, I don't have anything memorized. I had to refer to a checklist to do the run you're watching now. But from collecting the information for this video, I learned the possible locations of knives. So I know where to look, and with a little practice, you can too. Then just keep an eye out for that little circle in a real game. It's worth going slightly out of your way for. So what else can you do with this information? Continue my research? I may not even do that. This was a pain in the ass. You can make a game of it though. Challenge yourself to get all 40 before you enter Rage Mode. Race an online friend. Practice morphing to some of the guaranteed knives to get them quickly. Bet someone $100 they can't find all 40, then load up Map B. But seriously, if you're learning the knife animation cancel or the quick throw, what better way to practice it than to have 40 opportunities in one match? Anyway, I hope this helps you to gain a new appreciation for the throwing knives. If I've missed anything on Packanack Large that you know about or have anything to add, please let me know in the comments. I may do a part 2 to this at some point. I'd love to show more detailed walkthroughs of each configuration and explain things better once I've learned more. I'd also like to do the other maps someday if I'm able to gather enough information about them. But there's no sense doing any of this unless I can create a reliable guide. So until then, cheers everybody, and happy Friday.